What up, everybody? It's your boy Sack the King up in this motherfucker, man. Back with another life story. Back with another Germany story. As I said from the last video, I'm going to tell y'all the story about how my boy Jones threw me an alley-oop. You feel me? And it was so unexpected. So anyways, man, this is about, 2005. You feel what I'm saying? And no, was it 2004? It might have been 2004. This was like 2004, matter of fact. Because my boy D was still in Iraq. He was about to come home like in 2 weeks. You feel me? And my boy Jones was there in the NCO barracks. Okay, so one day was we about to go out that night? Yeah, we was about to go out that night, right? Maybe I got a picture from that night. And we in his room, I come to his room, you know what I'm saying? And when I came in there, he was ironing his clothes. And there was a bitch on the bed. So, you know, I don't be paying niggas bitches no mind. Like, nigga, I'm there to kick it with the homie or talk to the homie or whatever I got to do. In any situation, I'm not looking at another nigga bitch. Like, I never even been that type. You're not going to ever find a nigga who says, man, that nigga Sack was trying to fuck with my bitch or something like that. Like, nah, nigga. Like, I just don't do that kind of shit. But this was a funny situation. So, you know, my nigga Jones was in there ironing his clothes, you know, and I come in there and I sit on his couch. I wonder if he even remembers this. Jones, if you ever remember this, man, leave a comment or something. So anyways, the bitch is laying on the bed and I looked at her, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, this bitch is kind of bad. Like, you know what I'm saying? Okay, whatever, you know. So I'm chopping it up with him and Jones is like, yeah, my nigga's from California, you know what I'm saying? She's like, oh, California? And she's like, oh, I'm from Pittsburgh, you know what I'm saying? And soon as she knew I was from California, she just came and sat right next to me on the couch. And she got comfortable, though, you know what I mean? She she put her leg up and was like, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, looking at this nigga like, you know, like, what's wrong with this bitch, nigga? Yo, bitch is over here on me, you know what I mean? So anyways, longer story short, man, the bitch is on me. Like, everything I'm saying to her is like, I'm not even really kind of trying to talk to her or pay her no attention. I'm still wondering like, hey, bitch, you out of pocket right now. Like, why are you over here on me and my niggas over? So longer story short, man, my nigga Jones get his clothes together and shit, and then he boot the bitch out. You know what I'm saying? He like, yeah, it's whatever, right? So, my nigga Jones threw me 2 alley-oops. Now that I think about it, he threw me 2 alley-oops. Nigga, I got 2 stories in one for y'all. So make sure y'all hit that subscribe button below, and so you can be the first to know and help the channel grow, man. I'm gonna tell you why he threw me these alley-oops, though. You feel me? So, anyways, matter of fact, it was the same night. The same night he threw me the first alley-oop, and then he threw me this alley-oop too. You feel me? So we go out, right? So we end up going out. You know what I mean? I done forgot about the bitch. I'm going to get back to this Crystal story because that's what her name was. But I'm going to tell you about this chick named Daniela. He threw me the alley-oop on Daniela. You feel me? Okay, so we in the club. We go to the club. He didn't kick the bitch out. You know, he telling me about the bitch like, yeah, man, this is what happened. He told me, man, I just met this bitch. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, who is that bitch? He's like, man, yeah, I just met that bitch the other day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I smashed her or whatever, but she's nothing. You know what I mean? Like, at this time, my nigga Jones was still trying to get back with his ex-wife. You feel me? This is what I remember. He was trying to get back with his ex-wife. So he was just going out because he was bored, and it was a night I didn't have nobody there to go back with because I came back from Iraq earlier than the rest of my unit. You know what I'm saying? But Jones just happened to be back already. So this had to be like around like this had to be back around like April or May of 2004 because my boy D came back and he's a part of this story when I get back to the Crystal story, right? So anyways, Jones was like, man, I just met that bitch, man. She's staying over here in the NCO barracks because they ain't got no room for her somewhere else in her unit. I'm like, all right, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But I remember him telling me that because it's gonna come back up, right? So we go to the Black Sounds that night. We go to Black Sounds. It's another Black Sounds night. You feel me? And we in there, and I'm over there doing my thing. You know what I'm saying? Jones is doing his thing, but I remember him telling me like, hey man, I gotta go. You know what I mean? I'm like, what's cracking? He's like, man, my ex-wife is about to come. I'm about to go home with my ex-wife. So I'm like, all right, well shit. But he's talking to a bad little bitch. You know what I mean? I'm like, shit, bro, you about to leave her? He was like, bro, holler at her. You know what I'm saying? He's like, holler at her. I'm like, for real? He like, bro, holler at her. So I look at her, I'm like, shit, all right. You know what I'm saying? So he leaves. So Jones leaves. I don't even know if Jones even knows this, right? Or if he even remembers this, right? So he leaves. So I get on the bitch. Her name was Daniela. It was an Italian bitch. You know what I'm saying? A little short Italian bitch. This bitch was bad. You know what I mean? She had some big ass titties, a fat ass, you know what I'm saying? Long, silky black hair. You know what I mean? So I remember, you know, I'm talking to her or whatever, you know what I mean? And I buy her a couple drinks, and then we ended up going outside to her car at the end of the night. And we sitting in her car for like an hour, bruh. Like, I'm talking to this bitch for like a whole hour. My car is parked next to hers. Ironically, when we leave the club, she was going to her car. I was going to my car too. And she wasn't trying to do nothing that night, but her car was parked right next to mine. So I'm like, shit. You know, longer story short, I ended up getting in her car. We ended up talking for like a whole hour in her car. You know what I'm saying? So after that, she's like, it got to the point where she was like, you want to come over to my house? I'll make you some dinner. Cause spaghetti's been like always my favorite food. You feel me? Like tacos is probably my favorite food, but spaghetti is right there. You know what I mean? So she's Italian. So we talking about all kind of like, we must have been talking about some food or something. She was like, hey, you know, fuck the club. I don't really come out that much. And mind you, I never seen her at the club, and I knew everybody in this town. You feel me? So she was like, I'll make you some food. You know, come to my house. I'll make you some food. I was like, all right. So the very next day, I go to her house. You know what I'm saying? And she makes me a bowl of spaghetti. Like, she makes a big ass pot of spaghetti. And we kicking it, you know what I mean? And I remember we was watching some dumb shit, but I remember all of a sudden she just jumped on me, right? She was on me, like, and mind you, I had popped me like a little X pill before I went over there, so I was already rolling on one, you know what I mean? So, and I told y'all the story about the first time I took X. Go down and scroll and watch that shit, right? So at that time, like, I'm a little young, handsome nigga, you feel me? So, but this bitch was older than me. I remember she was like, I'm like 20, 21 at the time. She's probably like 30, 31 at the time. You feel me? I think Jones is like 5 or 6 years older than me. So anyways, that nigga don't look it though. That nigga is still like he ages backwards. Shout out to my nigga Jones and his damn jeans. Nigga, I always get on that nigga like, bro, do you ever age? But anyways, so longer story short, I smashed the fuck out of her. And I remember she had this tattoo of this unicorn on her ass. She had a fat ass too. You know what I'm saying? She had a tattoo of a unicorn on her ass. And bruh, I smashed the fuck out of Daniela. And she used to call herself, what was her little screen name online? She used to have like Yahoo Messenger, and her name was like Gatina or something like that. It means like cat. Whatever means cat in Italian. It was like Gatina or some shit like that, right? And she was from like matter of fact, she was from like Sicily or somewhere. Whatever the little island is that Italy kicks, I think it's called Sicily. That's where she was really from, but to me, it's all the same. You're Italian, you know what I'm saying? But I was calling her the Italian stallion. That's what I kept calling her, because she had a fucking unicorn on her ass, and all I could think about was like a fucking Italian stallion, like a black Mustang or something, like Rocky or some shit like that. You know what I mean? So, longer story short, man, I only smashed on her maybe like, I probably only came to her house maybe like 4 or 5 times and smashed on her. It wasn't nothing that lasted like longer than 2 months. And I don't even remember why we fell out. You know what I mean? I remember one time I was at her house and she was bidding on something on eBay. This is like when eBay first started popping. And she was bidding on something that she wanted really, really bad. And when I came over there, she was like, yeah, I got to pay attention to this because I'm trying to get this, you know, some quilt or something, you know what I mean? But anyways, longer story short, we ended up fucking, and she ended up forgetting all about that bid, and afterwards she was like, damn, the bid is over, and she lost the bid. I remember that shit. But anyways, man, that's a whole nother story. Shout out to Daniela, wherever you are in the world, Italian stallion. You know, she probably still remember this dick though, cause I was putting it on that old bitch. I ain't even gonna lie, bruh. And shit, she was putting it on me too. That bitch was fine. You know what I mean? So shout out to my nigga Jones for throwing me that alley-oop that night. Now back to the story with Crystal, right? So okay, I must have seen Crystal like maybe 2 weeks later after I quit fucking with Daniela, because for like a month I wasn't fucking with Daniela no more. You know what I'm saying? I went back to the Black Sounds and I seen her. I might have even been in Millennium and seen Crystal, right? So I seen Crystal and I'm like, shit. She's like, hey, what's up? Ain't you the nigga from Cali? Woo-doo-doo. I'm like, yeah, you know. And this bitch was like 6 foot tall, had a body like a stallion for sure. She was about the same age as me at the time. She had some big ass titties. She was in the army too. Had a fat ass, you know what I'm saying? So anyways, she was like, what you doing after the club? I'm like, you fuck with my nigga? She's like, hell no, that nigga be ignoring me. He don't talk to me. She was like, I was trying to see what's up with you from the first night. You know what I mean? But I remember Jones, when he was telling me about the bitch, he's like, man, that bitch is just something to fuck. And like I said, at the time, he was trying to get back with his ex-wife. So that's what his focus was on. You know what I mean? So he didn't give a fuck about this bitch. It was just like another little random ass bitch. Like a throwaway bitch, I guess you could say. Mind you, like I said, I don't be fucking with niggas bitches. But I kind of felt like this bitch was fair game because, you know, what he told me and what she was telling me was kind of matching up. Like, he wasn't fucking with the bitch no more. So I'm like, shit, I'm about to smash this bitch. She was like, she stayed on, was it Hoodier? It was the post right there on Lamboy Strasse. I want to say it was Hoodier. I'm not sure, but it was in Hanau, and she stayed right there on the post off of Lamboy Strasse right before you get to the McDonald's, right? I remember that shit. And so I remember going over there to a room that night, you know what I'm saying? And when it came time to smash on her, like the bitch took off her clothes. Oh man, that bitch was so bad. Even when I walked in the barracks, it was niggas still trying to holler at her. She was like, whatever, you know what I mean? So I walked in and they was looking at me like, ooh, he about to hit that shit. Like niggas wanted that bitch, right? So we go in the room and I remember we kicking it, you know, we watching a little movie or whatever. And then all of a sudden the bitch just jumped up on me, you know what I'm saying? But nigga, bruh, I must have only fucked this bitch for like 5 minutes, bruh, and I busted. Nigga, her pussy was good. I busted, bruh. I was like, damn, hell no. I'm like, hell no, bruh. Like, hell no. I wanted to show out. I wanted to show improve in that pussy. Because it's the first time, you know what I'm saying? After we fuck 100 times, I don't care when I bust, bitch. I already got the pussy. But this time, I wanted to bone her ass out. But nigga, it was like 5 minutes and I busted, you know what I'm saying? So anyways, I'm sitting there like, man, damn. She's like, nah, that's cool. She's like, damn, your dick is hella big. Like, god damn, nigga. Like, I wasn't expecting that. The bitch was just so sprung off the size of my dick. She didn't even care about how long I fucked her. And I'm just thinking like, damn. I ended up telling her like, man, my pill ain't even kicked in yet. She was like, huh? She was like, you take pills? She was like, you got something? You take ecstasy? I was like, yeah, I'll be having it. She was like, hey, next time we taking some pills and we fucking. She wasn't even tripping. I'm like, all right, bet, right? So I smashed her that night for 5 minutes or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So the next time I seen her, you know, we chatting on the phone or whatever. My boy D had already came back. I know my nigga D remembers this shit, right? So my boy D had came back. Now, if you watch the video, she tried to violate me. This was the same night the bitch took my hat and ran off in the club, and this same bitch was gonna beat the German bitch's ass. You feel me? So anyways, longer story short, my boy D was back in town now. Now, this was my motherfucking wingman. Like, me and this nigga done smashed so many bitches. Man, I got plenty of stories, man, of me and D smashing bitches. But anyways, this is this story, right? So, it was that same night. I got my hat back from the bitch. Go back and watch that story again. You know what I mean? If you need to be caught up to speed to the rest of the story, what I'm telling you now. So anyways, nigga, my pill is kicking in. I'm having a good ass time, right? And I told D, like she's like, hey, my roommate is in my room tonight, because the first time we fucked, her roommate wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? So so this time her roommate is there, so white bitch, and my boy D is here. So she's like, I'm like, shit, well, what's up with your roommate? She was like, nah, she thought I was talking about a threesome, but she was like, nah, she don't fuck around like that. I'm like, nah, bro, like, I got a nigga for her. Is she down? So she was like, oh yeah, where's he at? So I put D onto her homegirl, right? So what happened, bro? I think this was a night I had to sneak in the trunk, because some other shit had happened, which I'll get into in a whole later story, and they took my ID card, right? They took my ID card, but I'll tell y'all why in a whole nother story, right? So they took my ID card, and I couldn't get on post, but these three had ID cards, so I jumped in the trunk and while we went through the gate, right? So I remember we went back to her room, and I'm rolling, I'm on one, she rolling, she on one, you know what I'm saying? We can't wait to get we all over each other, you know what I'm saying, in the club and in the car, right? So I remember we got up in there, and me and D smashed these bitches, right? But they had two beds that was like, one bed was right here and one bed was right here. And I remember D was over there smashing her homegirl, and I'm over here smashing this bitch, bro. We over here on like some tag team Marty Jannetty, Shawn Michaels shit, nigga. We over here tag teaming, right? So yeah, after that shit was done, man, D was like, bruh, that bitch was with it, you know what I'm saying? I was like, I told you, nigga, just another night, nigga, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, that bitch Crystal from Pittsburgh, man, wherever you are in life, hey, man, salute to you. But this is why I stopped fucking with Crystal, man. So after me and D smashed her and her friend that night, I just stopped hearing from the bitch. Like, the same way Jones was doing this bitch, she started doing me. Like, the bitch is cold turkey. So I'm like, all right, bitch, whatever. Like, nigga, I got hoes. Like, you must not know about me. Nigga, I had hella bitches at this time, so I'm not even tripping, right? So I ended up seeing this bitch like, maybe 3 or 4 months later. You feel me? I ended up seeing this bitch like 3 or 4 months later. And me and Mikey was at the McDonald's right up the street from her post at the McDonald's, and I remember I had a white Ford Explorer, and I backed in, and Mikey went in there, or maybe it was D. One of them two went in there to get something to eat, you know what I'm saying? And I see this bitch come through the drive-thru. So I hopped out like, hey, what's up? You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, what's cracking? She was like, I think she ended up getting her food, and she came and parked next to me, and she was like, yeah. I'm like, bro, why I ain't heard from you? Like, what's cracking? Like, last time we kicked it was cracking. She was like, yeah, I'm pregnant now, and do. I'm like, you pregnant now? She was like, no, don't trip. It's not yours. Like, it's not yours. You know, like, I know who my baby daddy is. And I didn't bust in her anyway. I used condoms with the bitch, right? So I'm just like, damn. But I knew the way that this bitch looked, somebody was going to shoot her fucking club up. So it didn't surprise me that she ended up getting pregnant. You know what I mean? But that was the reason why me and her didn't continue to fuck around, is because the bitch ended up getting pregnant. Somebody shot her motherfucking club up, man. But yeah, that's the stories. I forgot all about the Daniela bitch. But hey, man, shout out to my nigga Jones, man. I'm gonna have to post this shit on Facebook and tag you in this shit, man. Cause you threw me 2 alley-oops, whether you knew it or not, man. And I, like Shaq, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, man, y'all hit that subscribe button below so you can be the first to know and help the channel grow. It's King.